I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I've had a life in which I coached and played, and I'm having the time of my life.
You're getting a look now live at the celebration of life for Don Nelson, the former Hall of Fame NBA player and head coach. This is taking place at Preston Hollow Presbyterian Church. Steve Nash and Michael Finley just made their way up to the microphone to share a few words on the impact of on Nelly's impact on their lives. So we're going to go ahead and take a live listen in to Michael Finley.
Opportunity to grow and to become a player that I knew I could be. His confidence in me changed the trajectory of my career. He got me paid. And ultimately, he changed my life. But there was something else about Nelly that I'll never forget. Since Nelly has moved on, there's been a lot of viral videos going across the internet. And one of the messages, one of the videos that come across is his interaction with Karl Malone. I'm gonna tell you a little backstory on that, how that all got to that. So Nelly was telling us, a young team, that he respected the Jazz. Coach Harris can attest as well. Thought they were a good team, but he thought they were a dirty team. He thought they went right to the line of having illegal plays and legal plays. He termed them as bullies. So that particular game, if you go back, Karl Malone elbowed Sean Bradley. Legal or illegal, we don't know. So at that time, Coach Nelson thought it was the perfect time to stand up to the bully. So if you look at the video, Coach Nelson goes out to him, and it wasn't a chest bump, it was kind of like belly to chest to Karl Malone. But if you read his lips, he said, "I'm not scared of you, blank, 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 blank." And so we ended up losing the game. We're down. We go in the locker room. Nelly got ejected. We go in the locker room. The first person we see is Nelly there with his beer. And instead of talking about the game, the first thing he said to us was, "I showed that blankety blank who's the boss." But that was Nelly. But then, fast forward. Again, we're a young team trying to learn how to win. We finally end the playoff drought. And who do we face in the first round of the playoffs? The Utah Jazz. And back then, the first round was 5 games. We ended up losing the first 2 games. And we were down like, oh man, what's going on? But Nelly and his coaching staff, we had a tremendous scheme. They were super confident. They was like, oh, we're good. We'll go back to Dallas, win those 2. And Nelly's like, you guys are get me back to Salt Lake and we're gonna party. So we're looking around like, sounds good, 0-2, down 0-2 to Karl Malone, John Stockton. It's not looking good. But come back to Dallas, we win that game 3. Game 4 we win, and we go back to Salt Lake City. End up winning game 5, a tremendous game. Steve and Dirk had a great game. We won the game. And you talking about party, bro? These guys, we're in church, but we partied after that game like we won the championship. And I think that was the first feeling of success that the Mavericks hadn't had in a long time. And it was because of Coach Nelson, his staff, and the rest is history when it comes to the Mavs having playoff success. So I thank Nelly for that.
I think it's only fitting that this celebration of life started at around 10:30 this morning. We're looking at 12:30 Central Time, so this has been going on for 2 hours. I don't think Steve Nash has even gotten the chance to talk yet,
Nope.
But it's because every player and coach and family member and anyone who is up there to talk about Nelly has to your point, Jonah, earlier in the show, so many stories to share. And I think it was fitting that we just so happened to drop in as soon as the show called for it. And the first thing you're hearing Michael Finley say is, this man changed the trajectory of my life. Like, his impact, I can't necessarily put into words.
That, and also we have the moment, Kelly. This is 29.5 VO, because we're scrambling here with some VOs that are happening here. This was the moment that Michael Finley was talking about chest bumping Karl Malone and everything that came after it. This was Don Nelson to a T. Not afraid of the moment, right, Jonah?
Oh, listen, I don't think if you played in the NBA back in the 60s and 70s when, you could get elbowed in the nose and it's still not a foul. Karl Malone coming up to you on the sideline and trying to, apply some pressure, that's not going to make you, back down, right? So Nelly I don't know if he was one of one, but he was definitely part of that collection of coaches that went from, physical playing days to, intense players coaches
Physical
in the NBA. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, if you're a player on that team and your coach is belly bumping Karl Malone and getting in his face, like, how does that not make you want to run through a wall for that guy? And it just feels like he had that type of personality, and it was just his nature. Really throughout, even after he was done coaching too, it just seemed like nobody ever had a bad thing to say about Don Nelson. Unless maybe you're a basketball that got punted or a referee, but this is what I was so excited for, the celebration of life, because it is a celebration and it's story time, and it's, hearing about these memories that maybe we didn't get all the details of, but, you heard Finn there kind of sharing that story, and I'm sure there's a bunch of others that have been told and coming up in the on the rest of the celebration of life that's going on today. So it's great. I think this is what Nelly probably would have wanted more than anything, is just to enjoy his life and remember him fondly.
There's the person that's kind of organizing this entire thing is Don Nelson's son, Donnie. And he's been kind of weaving in and around a lot of these stories and a lot of these people kind of migrating up to the stage to give their accounts on it. I do want to give Donnie the bit of the spotlight here. Kelly, this is Sot 28 real quick. This is reenacting one of his dad's most infamous / famous moments.
It was one of the Nelly classic moments with Dell. It was Dell and myself as assistant coaches. He got teed up, as he often did, and what he did was he punted the basketball in the technical, and it went into the balcony. I don't know if I can make the balcony. Dan Hunt, we'll see how my soccer skills are here. What do you think, huh? In fact, Dell, I think I got $100 I can make the balcony up there. What do you think? All right. Huh? Of course, it goes to Steve Nash, the soccer player, all right?
Sense of humor even in this moment. This is recounting a play, I believe it was 2002 or 2001, one of the early 2000 years, where Nelson was upset that Dirk was getting fouled and took out some of his frustration on the ball. Dirk himself actually shows some frustration there first before Nelly took matters into his own hands and punted it to the rafters. He had a bit more of an arc on that kick than I think Donnie did a couple seconds ago. But that was Don Nelson's personality. And I guess on that's not a better segue than Steve Nash himself up at the podium right now recounting some tales with the rest of everybody at the celebration of life.
My kids are going to go to great colleges and all that stuff. And that is because of Nelly. That's because of Nelly. Hard work is irreplaceable, and hard work gets you there. But someone believing in you, sticking with you, showing you how to fight through hard times and come out the other side, that is irreplaceable in someone's journey to success and getting there. So for me, Nelly had the biggest impact, the coach I played for the most, I learned the most from, and the most difficult thing for me was leaving Dallas. When I left Dallas for Phoenix, I'd wanted to play the rest of my career here. Wanted to play with Mike and Dirk. We're still friends for life. We go on vacations with our families. That all started here with Nelly, and I wanted that to continue forever. I wanted to finish my career here. But it wasn't to be. Salary caps and team building and things happen, and you're not fortunate just to go down the park and play with your friends. It's a business, after all. So It was really difficult at that time, and emotionally I wasn't sure how ready I was to leave these guys and to leave my coach, who I'd played the majority of my career with, still the coach I've played the most for. But Nelly taught me enough. He taught me enough. He gave me enough. He showed me those lessons. He helped me get through them. He helped me come out the other side, and that's all I needed to be able to go on and thrive without him. So, Nelly, I love you. You did everything for me, including challenge, push me, call me names I would never repeat in this house of the Lord, and also show me that you can have a great time and enjoy life and make the most of it. So I love you, thank you, and condolences, and thankfully everybody here can share in some of these wonderful stories. I do have, thank you. I do have a letter from Dirk, as he lives in Sweden in the summer and his parents are going to his house for the first time this week. So he wasn't able to make the long journey, but he wanted me to say some words. And dear Coach, I've always said I would never become the player I became if it wasn't for you and everything you taught me and how you believed in me. If I could ask you one thing today, it would just be, why did you let Nash have the ball so much? I didn't need to see him dribbling the air out of it every night. Hang on, that greedy bugger. I spoon-fed him for like 6 years here. We always knew that Judas would leave for the money. I mean, I bought him 2 meals a day for 6 years. And that's the kind of thanks I get. Okay, no, this is actually Dirk's letter. All right. I won't do the accent, but you know, I know how much he wants to be here, so I'll try to get through this in a classy manner. I really, really wish I could be there today with all of you, but I'm with my parents right now in Europe. They need me here at the moment. And I know Nelly would understand because he had such a great connection with my family and Holger, my coach, really from the jump. I think Nelly loved my dad more than he loved me. That's how quickly they hit it off. But that's really no surprise because Nelly just had an aura. I know that word gets used a lot these days, but when he came into a room, everything just lit up. He was funny, he was loud, he was always joking, no filter. He was truly one of a kind, and he was the ultimate player's coach. I don't think there was a player in the history of this game who benefited from Nelly more than me. I can still remember those first practices in Dallas when I came here for the Hoop Summit. I couldn't believe that there was an NBA coach in the gym watching me. I'm not really sure that he was allowed to be there by NBA rules. I think we got a theme going here tonight. But I could feel it from the jump. This guy and his son, Donnie, they really believed in me. They had the same vision for what I could become that Holger had. They were all convinced when I really wasn't sure what kind of player I could be at the highest level. And then once I started playing for Nelly, it eventually all clicked. Those early years with Nelly and after Mark bought the team were some of the most fun times that I've ever had in the NBA. Nelly just let us play, run up and down, play our style, lots of freedom, easy play calls. It was pick and roll or an elbow catch. His style was have guys that are skilled and let them play and create off of that. Of course, I always remember the times he got mad at me and those incredible one-liners. He's the only coach who ever cussed me out for not shooting enough. How can I forget that? Yeah, how can I forget that? The guy shot every time. How can you forget the only coach who ever told me, and I'm going to say this as politely as possible because you're all in a church, that my defense was as useless as teats on a boar hog. Except he probably didn't say teats. I mentioned this the other day, and I've probably said it 1,000 times over the years, but I'm not sure I would have ended up being the player I became without Nelly as my first coach. He wasn't going to try to bulk me up or make me play close to the basket. He saw the game differently. He wanted me shooting and passing and movement. And thankfully, I'm so fortunate that I saw the things I would be good at the NBA, that he saw the things before I saw them. He brought me to Dallas, and I owe him a ton, and I will love him forever. Donnie, Joy, everyone in the family, everyone in this room who knew and loved Nelly, please know that I'm thinking of everyone at this tough time, and that I will always be as proud to have played for Nels as anything I've achieved in my career.
Pretty fitting that Steve Nash got another assist for Dirk in this moment.
Oh, God.
Jonah, that was about as perfect as you could ask for to kind of sum up what Nelly meant to those two specifically.
That was amazing. Yeah, the drop in there could not have been better timed. Yeah, Nash crushed it. Incredible stuff. I'm seeing some of the clips of Greg Popovich as well from earlier today, saying that he got PTSD from seeing Nash and Chris Mullin in the crowd because he used to go against them as competitors. So,
you're stealing Pop's thunder right now. I actually cut that sound.
Oh, you got that clip? Let's fire it up then.
Let's roll it up, Kelly. This is SOT 26.
Trying to recover. I got a little PTSD here, looking around at all these people that were opponents mostly. Oh God. That's great. I think it's obviously sad for everyone that it has to be an event like this for everybody to get together, but it's emblematic of what Nelly did for almost all of us in the room. He had some effect on all of us, like Coach Harris just said, to help us along the way and do some things. That's who he was. He's a special guy in that respect, and people think he's a big, gruff bear out there, and I always, when I talk to some people that are real close to me, I say, my wife, is my daughter still here? My wife and my daughter wanted to move in most of the time when I was in Golden State with Nelly and Joy, because they had more fun with them than with me. He was just that kind of guy. We were in Napa Valley one night at someplace where we had to be, at some winery, having dinner, and people all around this table. And at one point, either I or he bumped his glass of wine and spilled on his pants. And he would not let up. He was badgering me the whole evening about how I knocked the wine on his pants, and they were his favorite pants. And I finally got tired of it, and I decided, well, this is one way I can find out if he will just think I'm a crazy Serbian or that I've got a little chutzpah. And so I said, I'm tired of this. So I took my wine glass and I threw it on myself. I said, will you shut up now? And he just laughed. And I knew then we were going to get along okay. Because he was competitive.
He was competitive. That's the mark that he is leaving on everyone involved there. From positivity, from fun, and that was the reason why Pop brought up that story. He kind of went into another tail end on obviously his contributions to the game of basketball as well, but you're really getting a sense throughout all of this that Nelly was larger than the game. He meant more to these people based off of personality and the joy that he brought to them than anything he could have ever contributed, and he contributed a lot to the game of basketball.
Jonah.
We're all kind of lost in thought here. It's tough, man. There's a lot of emotions kind of reliving some of these memories.
Yeah, I'm going through some of them on Twitter that they're all kind of coming in all at once. It's just awesome. Listen, I grew up loving basketball in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like those were my formative years watching the sport. It was a special time then, and Nelly was such a fixture of that. And people always think about him as the Mavericks coach, but it's such an impact in Golden State. Kind of really transformed how basketball was played to some degree. You know, the spread out offense and run and gun. It's just kind of cool to see these guys that you kind of grew up watching and idolizing to some degree. I was a short, point guard type, so like hearing Steve Nash tell stories about that era, it's just cool. It's almost like a book on tape, sort of, seeing
Yeah.
these
Yes.
guys talk. But it's a little bit emotional watching Pop talk because
Yeah.
Pop is the only one who's got more wins than Nelly. And, Pop's had health issues the last year or two. And Pop is such a fixture in the NBA. I mean, the dude's just one of one. Andrew, both of you, from whether it's working there or growing up there, how much, Pop means to the game too. And so, getting to hear his stories are pretty special. Something we probably shouldn't take for granted either, because you never know how much time you have to hear them.
It's absolutely fitting that Pop took over the record, that
Yeah.
those two got to share those individual moments, and that Nelly was one of the first to congratulate him, and he wanted it for him as much as anybody else.
Yeah, also fitting that Pop said, it's a shame that it's something like this that brings us all together, but at the same time, we all kind of share in that feeling of this is celebrating the life of, as you said, Jonah, somebody who's just one of one.